stroke. A stroke, or CVA, is properly known as a cerebrovascular accident. This condition is damage to the brain that occurs when the blood flow to the brain is disrupted because a blood vessel is either blocked or has ruptured. Strokes are currently the third leading cause of death and the primary cause of long-term disability. The location of the disruption determines the symptoms that will be present. An ischemic stroke, which is the most common type of stroke in older people. This type of stroke is caused by a blockage in an artery that supplies blood to the brain. The blockage reduces the blood flow and oxygen to the brain, leading to damage or death of brain cells. If circulation isn't restored quickly, brain damage can be permanent. Approximately 87% of all strokes are ischemic stroke. There are two main ways that an ischemic stroke happens. One mechanism is endothelial cell dysfunction, which is when something irritates or inflames the slippery inner lining of the artery. The tunica intima. One classic irritant is the toxins found in tobacco which float around in the blood damaging the endothelium. The damage becomes a site for atherosclerosis, which is where a plaque forms. This is when a buildup of fat, cholesterol, proteins, calcium, and immune cells forms and starts to obstruct arterial blood flow. This plaque has two parts to it, the soft, cheesy textured interior and the hard outer shell, which is called the fibrous cap. Another mechanism for ischemic stroke formation is an embolism. An embolic stroke typically happens when a blood clot breaks off from one location, travels through the blood, and gets lodged in an artery downstream, typically an artery, arteriole, or capillary with a smaller diameter. These blood clots typically emerge from atherosclerosis, but they can also form in the heart. One specific type of ischemic stroke is called a lacunar stroke, and they typically involve the deep branches of the middle cerebral artery that feed the basal ganglia. Called that since after a lacunar stroke the damaged brain tissue develops fluid-filled pockets called cysts that look like little lakes under a microscope. This can happen as a result of hypertension or diabetes. Risk factors. Circulatory conditions are the main risk factor for ischemic stroke. That's because they increase your risk for clots or fatty deposits. These conditions include high blood pressure, high cholesterol, atherosclerosis, prior heart attack, clotting disorders, congenital heart defects, atrial fibrillation, sickle cell anemia, others, diabetes, smoking, being overweight, use of certain drugs and alcohol.